What I'm trying to do is listen to what my constituents are telling me and raising for debate an issue which I recognise is really, really difficult. And that is how you balance the legitimate sense of entitlement that my long-standing families feel to accessing social housing with the legitimate need which many new economic migrants have when they arrive here in the UK. And I am only talking about economic migrants, not refugees, because of course if you're a genuine refugee then you should be treated in the same way as every British citizen.
Liberal Democrats not very happy with what you're saying. They're saying you've got a cheek. There's 1.5 million families on the council waiting list and the Labour government keeps selling houses off. They're saying there's not enough social housing to begin with.
Of course it is true that we need to develop more social housing, and I warmly welcome Gordon Brown's commitment. It was his very first commitment to developing the eco-housing. But however much social housing you do create, you will nevertheless have to take decisions to ration what will always be a finite resource. And when you do that, if I think of some of the families in my constituency, young families struggling probably on a low income, who can't get their foot on the first rung of the housing ladder, who for generations have lived within 10 minutes probably of where their great-grandparents lived, they feel an entitlement to social housing. And the question I'm asking is, should we, in the way that we allocate that social housing, give them some recognition of that entitlement and have that override the undoubted need that people who choose to come here as economic migrants also have? It's a question of priorities in a very difficult situation.
Is it a question of votes as well? Because you've been quoted as saying voters in your Barking constituency are turning to the BNP.
This is absolutely nothing to do with the BNP. This is simply my listening to my constituents. I want to build a very strong, multiracial, harmonious community. I want that to be there. It's a very fast-changing community. I want us to be able to welcome the many people who choose to come and live and work in Britain and choose to settle in Barking. But what I'm talking about is, if we want to create that sort of society, we do have to listen to the fears and concerns that people express. And this is about as much about black British and Asian British families who've been here for 2 or 3 generations as it is about white British families. And I simply want us to think about those needs. This is a difficult issue. I don't run away from that. But if we don't have a proper debate on how we balance those competing priorities, actually we'll just give succor to the extreme right.